We meet in the space between parts. It is a space of inertia, where we suspend all limiting ideas of human potential in an authentic effort to move from darkness to light by discovering the true nature of reality.
Welcome to Absolute Reason. I am Joan, your freaky philosopher, and this is where we explore human potential through the development of our spiritual intelligence. But what exactly do I mean with the term spiritual intelligence? In a nutshell, spiritual intelligence is a developed understanding of what is this creation and what is my relationship to it. I hope this question has given you a moment of pause, as the magnitude of this concept can seem rather overwhelming. But never fear, I have spent the last 3 years researching and composing a baseline of easy to understand concepts that will serve as our guides into the unknown potentials hidden deep within the beauty that is mankind. So without any further delay, let's explore the baseline concepts which will set us up to pursue the first topic of discussion. What is that first topic? Well, it is understanding the body vessel and my relationship with my physical aspect, my physical shape, and my physical being. So let us begin to explore the 3 baseline principles that will serve as our guides as we further explore our spiritual intelligence. The first principle is all about what is happening outside of the individual, and this falls under the topic of the threefold nature of things. The second principle is all about what happens within the individual, and this is discovered under the topic of the threefold nature of the individual. And number 3, last but not least, is all about the scale of man. And this will teach us how to find a harmonious relationship between the 2 parts, that which is outside of ourselves and that which is within us. So let us look at the first baseline principle, and that is the principle of the threefold nature of things, that which is outside of the individual. The threefold nature of things consists of 3 parts. It is the individual, the environment, as well as then the relationship between these 2 parts. A deeper understanding of the threefold nature of things offers you, the observer, a wider background of how every event within nature operates. It is all about the cosmic interconnectedness of that which is outside of the individual. It teaches us how these parts are interlinked in an organic manner so that everything becomes as important as the other. This is why Helena Blavatsky referred to these relationships as a concept of intelligent design. It is all about how things are linked together in an organic and supportive way. On we go to explore the second guiding principle, and that is an understanding of the threefold nature of the individual. It is all about what is happening within you. This part is subdivided into three parts. It is the will of the individual, then the knowledge gained by the individual, and it is the coming together of the will and the knowledge that forms a catalyst for action. It is will, knowledge, and action that forms the threefold nature of the individual. Not as a collection of attributes, but it is about the very essence of who you are, that which I am. It speaks to the very subtle activity that takes place before the individual expresses it in the form of experience. On we go to the third guiding principle, and that is a deeper understanding of the scale of man. It is all about having harmonious effects and reactions through our own actions. It is a deeper understanding of how we can live in harmony with the natural setup outside of the individual. But it's not merely the physical body, but an intellect fit to experience the delights of spiritual intelligence. This is the spot where once you understand how to find harmony within the threefold nature of things and the threefold nature of the individual, that you begin to really experience and taste and explore the beauty that is mankind, as well as this awesome and fantastic and fascinating experience of this creation. Once you find a deeper meaning in what is outside of you, what is inside of you, and your relationship with those parts, well, then you begin to develop your spiritual intelligence. Then you begin to operate a little bit wiser than the average guy, and you begin to develop an eye that looks ahead of the curve, so it gives you an idea of what is coming your way, so that you are prepared for it, and then stable and harmonious as you live through the experience of your everyday. So let us recap what we have discovered up until this point. Well, we know that absolute reason is all about developing and exploring our spiritual intelligence. We have learned that spiritual intelligence is all about understanding what is this creation and my relationship to it. Then we went on to explore the three baseline principles that serve as our guides as we further develop our spiritual intelligence. The three baseline principles are: number 1, the threefold nature of things. This is the environment. Number 2 is the threefold nature of the individual. That is what happens inside of you. And number 3, the scale of man, which is all about how you operate between these two worlds. But I can summarize it even more in a more simplistic way by pointing to that the threefold nature of things actually points to the atmosphere that the individual steps into. This we all understand. When you get called into your boss's office and you know you are in trouble because you didn't make your sales target and you haven't for the last 6 months, you step into a very specific atmosphere, one where you are in trouble. But let's say you have not only made your annual target, but you completely blew it out the water. And then you get called into your boss's office. Well, that atmosphere that you are stepping into is very different, because that atmosphere is one of congratulations, yay, and support and well done, which is all very different atmosphere compared to one where you are in trouble. So that is the threefold nature of things. It is the atmosphere. Then we go look at the threefold nature of the individual, and this speaks to your aura field. Now, if you are listening to this podcast, it means you already have a strong spiritual pull within you, which means you have more than likely come across the term aura. Aura is all about a colorful, atmospheric expression of what is happening inside of the individual. It is how your threefold nature comes together: your will, your knowledge, and your action. This expresses into your aura field. Some people see this in different colors. Others can even spot the different densities of the individual's aura. Then we go to number 3, the scale of man. This is best summarized under the term of potentials. It is all about the extreme potentials available to you as the individual as you operate within the atmosphere and the aura of who and what you are, that which is outside of you and that which is inside of you. The relationship between the atmosphere and the aura bring about potentials. It is your free will as to how you respond to the presented potentials. They can go extreme. They can go completely spiritual and almost out of touch with reality, or they can go extremely into the world of matter, where force and control becomes a pedantic action of the individual. So our baseline principles teach us that we need to have an eye on the atmosphere, on our own personal aura, and definitely understand with intellect what are our potential actions within the relationship between these two parts. But I'll take it even one step further by exploring what exactly I mean with atmosphere, aura, and our potentials. When we look at the atmosphere, it is critical for this principle for you to understand that your life is related to every phenomenon outside of you, and vice versa. You are the cause and there is a reaction. Every reaction has a cause. And it is because of the principle, this is now physics, it is because of the principle that vibrations interact that we can form an understanding that we are influenced by the atmosphere around us. But remember, you can also have an influence on the atmosphere around you. You don't just step into it and you're this helpless little individual. Oh, I'm so scared. No, a self-empowered, self-determining individual understands that life is related to every phenomenon outside of ourselves. And it's because of that that we can also influence the atmosphere around us. And we do not need to fall victim to the atmosphere that we enter. As an example, let's go back to the boss's office, but the one where we are stepping into an atmosphere of trouble. You didn't make your target for 6 months. You are knee-deep in trouble. How do we then influence that atmosphere of trouble? Well, easily. First of all, because of your spiritual intelligence, you realize you are going to step in it. But you also realize that you can influence that atmosphere. What will influence any boss who's already pissed off with you? Well, you come with a mitigating plan, rectification, self-correction. Boss, I'm sorry I haven't made my target for 6 months, but here is my plan. And in fact, I've been working on this plan for 3 months. These projects are going to kick in within the next 2 to 3 weeks. This will then elevate my target to this degree, and my forecast is that ultimately, at the end of this year, I will make my target. My plans are realistic because I am in touch with reality and I know exactly what I need to do to make this right. And just like that, you change the atmosphere from being in trouble and being scolded by the boss to one where the boss is listening to your plan, and all of a sudden what he wants to do or she wants to do is to then support your plan, because at least you have done something about it. Now you are busy influencing and changing the atmosphere from one of combat to one of coordination and cooperation. And this is ultimately where you always want to be, in an atmosphere of coordination and cooperation. I hope by now you're beginning to pick up what I am putting down around how spiritual intelligence can be of benefit to your everyday. But let's move on to the aura field. It is our thoughts that influence the atmosphere, and it is critical that we realize that thoughts and modes of living, oh, that's so important, modes of living are vibrations that we set up around us. The vibration of the person is, however, not confined merely to the physical body. It emanates like an aura to a certain distance from the body of the person. What I really want to focus on here is how our thoughts influence the atmosphere, and especially how our modes of living are vibrations that we set up around us. When it comes to our thoughts, we can immediately see with an individual when they are having depressing thoughts. It shows on our face, in our mere body language. This is why body language is a thing, because our thoughts express and it vibrates through our body and into our actions, even the subtle actions like a nervous twitch. But what is this modes of living thing that we are talking about? What exactly does that mean? Well, it means, and it talks about your everyday. How is your everyday? How do you wake up? Do you wake up with an alarm system? Are you always late and in a stress and a worry? Do you like to fill your spare time with things that are of a meditative, more relaxing nature? Or do you like to go and pick up a gun and point and shoot at something? These are things that form the modes of living. But even more than our actions, I would say, our words form and shape our modes of living. How do you speak to yourself? Is it in an abusive form, or is it in an uplifting form? So let's go back to the boss's office and see how I can now influence my aura through my thoughts and my modes of living in a way that will be even more supportive to the atmosphere when I walk into the boss's office. How do I do this? Well, let's look at thoughts and then words as a way of exploring this concept. If I, just before I go into my boss's office, what I'm doing is I'm abusing myself. Oh, I'm such a piece of poop under everybody's shoe. I am nothing. I'm never going to make this. This is impossible. And there's just no market for the product at the moment. It's impossible. That is an incredibly negative way of speaking to yourself. Those words and those thoughts actually create the aura around you. And believe it or not, when you walk into any atmosphere, your aura will influence that atmosphere. If your boss is pissed off with you, you walk in to that atmosphere with an aura where you are also pissed off with yourself, well, you can kind of see how the coming together of one pissed off plus another pissed off is only going to lead to more pissed off. This is a problem. But if you are walking into that atmosphere already with your self-determination set that you will achieve your target and you will make this plan work, your boss will pick up on that aura, and all of a sudden it is one of an uplifting nature that actually then directs the atmosphere into a more cooperative environment. Last but not least, on we go to the third baseline principle that will serve as our guide. And that is an understanding of the scale of man. It is all about developing knowledge around the extreme potentials available to you as an individual as you operate this relationship between the parts inside of yourself and the parts outside of yourself. It is through the chain of relations within this cosmic interconnectedness that we do not get what we do not deserve, and we cannot get also what we have not given. So unless there is a harmonious give and take understanding between us and nature, nature will not give anything to us. So it is now with a deeper understanding of our potential that we go into the boss's office. And it is by pointing to our potentials and our very wise and in touch with reality action plan, how we're going to make these potentials turn into a reality, that we calm our boss down, at least until the end of the month and our next sales meeting. We better be able to show some progress at that next marking point. But it is all about our potentials and understanding how we operate through cause and effect with the true nature of things. Once you begin to apply this spiritual intelligence, only these three potentials, merely an understanding and an observation of this reality, that already will begin to align you with the natural order of things. And it is when you are aligned with the natural order of things that you, as let's say a salesperson, will come to your boss and say, yes, like boss, I was just in the right place at the right time. Call me lucky, or maybe perhaps what you should do is call me spiritually intelligent, because I am working in coordination and cooperation with the natural order of things. Hang tight, because in the next podcast we are going to apply this baseline, the baseline of spiritual intelligence, to that which is closest to us in a very practical way. We are going to explore the body vessel, your physical human expression, but we will be exploring it in relation to these three baseline principles. Oh, what a discovery lies ahead. We will learn about karma. We will learn what meditation truly is. And you will get to explore the practical application of this knowledge in your relationship with your body. Yes, you will have physical benefits. No, you don't have to change anything about your basic life as it is. If you are the type of individual who goes to a doctor once a week, keep doing it. It works for you. If you're the one who goes sees a therapist once a week, keep doing it. It works for you. But now we are going to show you how spiritual intelligence will support your everyday. Hang tight. I am Joan, your freaky philosopher, and you are and forever will be my absolute reason.